All right, welcome back. Ready to jump headfirst into match day 25.
Oh, absolutely. I think this weekend had just about everything.
We sure do. So we've got mountains of reports and analyses, and we're going to sift through it all for you.
We're going to find those hidden gems, the upsets, the tactical battles, and yeah, those moments that could define the whole season.
Exactly. But we're not just going to look at the individual results, right?
No, the bigger picture, that's what we're after. We're going to connect the dots and see what trends are shaping the league like right now.
Love it. Okay, well, I think we got to start with the shocker. Brighton 3-0 over Chelsea. I mean, wow. Did anyone see that coming?
Honestly, no. Brighton hadn't exactly been lighting it up recently. This was a major surprise.
Yeah, big time. But when you dig into those match reports, the tactical analysis.
Well, it starts to make sense. Brighton's manager, he had a plan, and it was brilliant.
The reports all point to Keuru Mitoma, right? That opening goal, it just changed everything.
Yeah. But for me, it was the way Brighton pressed high up the pitch. They just forced Chelsea into mistake after mistake. Those other two goals, they were gifts.
And expensive ones for Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, one article I read, it said Cucurella on that first goal, it was like he was caught napping.
Right. Chelsea's passing game, usually so smooth it just fell apart. They couldn't handle that intensity.
So this wasn't just, a lucky win for Brighton. There were real tactics behind it. What's this mean going forward for both teams?
Well, for Brighton, it's a statement. They can play with the big boys, especially when they execute like that.
And Chelsea. A wake-up call, maybe.
Big time. The top four race is tight. They can't afford to sleepwalk through matches.
No kidding. All right, let's shift gears to another match with big implications. Arsenal 2-0 over Leicester City. Maybe not a blowout like Brighton, but
But it had its moments. Tense right from the start.
you can feel it in those reports. First half, both teams so cautious. Like one mistake and it's over.
And then, Mikel Merino, off the bench, 2 goals, and not even playing his natural position.
Makeshift striker, right? You don't see that every day.
Gotta hand it to Arteta. That was bold, and it paid off.
Huge win for Arsenal and for Leicester. It just highlights their defensive struggles.
Yeah, a recurring theme, unfortunately. They just couldn't handle Arsenal, especially in that second half.
It's putting them in a really tough spot in the table. All right, from a big win to a real grind, Aston Villa, Ipswich Town. 1-1 draw. And from the reports, even with 10 men, Ipswich never gave up.
Liam Delap, that goal, talk about being in the right place at the right time. But honestly, it was their grit, their determination. That's what impressed me, holding off a really strong Villa side.
The stats are pretty clear, though. Villa dominated possession, chances created. But that winning goal, nope. Are they lacking something, that killer instinct?
Tough to say. Dominating possession, that's one thing. But turning it into goals, that's the real challenge. Maybe they just couldn't find that final touch.
Fulham, they edged out Nottingham Forest 2-1. Sounds like that one could have gone either way.
It really could have. Chris Wood, that goal for Forest, reminded everyone, they're dangerous. But Fulham, they fought back.
Resilient, that's the word.
Absolutely. And Calvin Bassey, the winning header after, his earlier mistake.
Redemption. Love that. So Fulham, they complete the league double over Forest. But for Forest,
Pressure's on. Top 4. They got to find their winning ways again, and fast.
buckle up for this one, because we're going from a nail-biter to a full-on goal fest. Manchester City, 4-0 over Newcastle.
Wow. Omar Marmoush. First half hat-trick. That's got to be up there with the best performances of the season.
The speed, the precision, his finishing, he was unbelievable.
And it wasn't just individual brilliance, right? Ederson, that long pass for the first goal, Savinho's assist on the third.
Tactical genius on display.
Manchester City, that was a clinic on attacking football, fluid, dynamic, and ruthless. And for Newcastle, well, a bit of a reality check.
Huge win for City, puts them right back in the top 4 mix. And Newcastle, they slipped down to 7th.
It's amazing how one weekend can completely shake things up. That's the Premier League for you.
Always full of surprises. Okay, let's head down south, shall we? Southampton, AFC Bournemouth, 1-1 draw. But, man, those local derbies, always intense.
Always. The reports, you can just feel that passion, that energy. Ryan Christie, his goal for Bournemouth, pure class. But then Kamaldeen Sulemana, that equalizer for Southampton, shared the spoils.
Chances for both sides, but in the end, a draw. Big point for Southampton. They're fighting to stay up. But Bournemouth, they'll be wanting more.
They'll be thinking, what could have been? They're still in that European hunt, but they need to start turning these draws into wins.
And finally, from the South Coast, we go to London. West Ham, Brentford, at the London Stadium. 2-2. And it sounds like a wild one.
Back and forth all match long. Kevin Shade opened the scoring for Brentford, but then West Ham fought back. 2 goals, Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta. You think they've got it won?
And then Brian Bamo pops up with a late equalizer. What a match.
Really entertaining. Neither team deserved to lose, but West Ham, they need more than draws right now.
They're flirting with that relegation zone. All right, we've got 3 more matches to unpack, but wow, match day 25, it delivered.
We've seen it all, haven't we? Upsets, tactical battles, moments of brilliance, and we're just getting started.
So much more to come. Next up, Crystal Palace taking on Everton. Then it's Liverpool against Wolves. And finally, the big one, Tottenham, Manchester United. Stay with us.
You know, before we get to those last few matches, I gotta ask, what's really stood out to you so far? Anything that's just like, wow?
Oh, tons. Marmoush, that hat trick for City. I mean, it wasn't just the goals. It was how he moved, the way he found space, just a masterclass.
Yeah, incredible. But Yoko Bamimide too, right? That brace for Brighton, he really showed up, exposed some weaknesses in that Chelsea backline.
Oh, for sure. And what about Marino for Arsenal? Coming off the bench, not even his usual spot, and bang, 2 goals. Talk about clutch.
It's those moments, you know, where someone steps up and boom, the whole match changes. And then the table looks different.
Speaking of the table, man, this match day has just thrown it all up in the air. Where do we even start?
Well, the title race, it's getting interesting, isn't it? Liverpool's still top, but
They're not running away with it anymore. Arsenal, they're right there. That unbeaten streak, impressive stuff.
and then there's City, right back in the mix after that demolition of Newcastle. Can't count them out either.
So a 3-horse race.
Feels like it. Every match from here on out, every point, it's going to matter.
Can't wait. Okay, so title race, we've got that. What about those European spots? Fulham, that win puts them in a good position, but Forest, they're got to be feeling the pressure now.
Oh, yeah. And Bournemouth, that draw, they're still in the hunt. And Palace beating Everton, that helps their chances too.
Tight at the top and at the bottom, because that relegation battle, oh man, it's tense down there. Southampton, they're still at the bottom. They need some wins, and fast.
Leicester's loss doesn't help them either. And Everton, that defeat, they're looking over their shoulder now too.
And West Ham, even with the draw, they're still too close to that drop zone for comfort.
Going to be a wild finish to the season, that's for sure. All right, let's get back to those remaining matches. Crystal Palace, they squeaked out a 1-0 win over Everton. Not the most exciting match, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty cagey from the reports I've seen. Just the 1 goal from Mateta.
And you know, that goal, it really kind of sums up Everton's season, wasn't it? Can't clear a bouncing ball and bam, goal.
Those defensive errors, they've been killing them all season.
It's concentration, isn't it? Or lack of it. Their manager, he's got to find a way to fix that, and quick.
Otherwise, yeah, that relegation battle, they'll be right in the thick of it. Okay, so Palace, they get the win, moves them up the table a bit.
Solid performance, not pretty, but they got the job done.
All right, Liverpool, they got their win too, 2-1 against Wolves, but wasn't easy for them, was it?
Wolves, they always give Liverpool a tough time, and that goal from Kumpa, fantastic. Kept them in it till the very end.
Luis Diaz opened the scoring for Liverpool, then Salah with the penalty. But yeah, they had to work for it.
But that's what champions do, right? Don't have to play their best, but they find a way to win.
Wolves, they can hold their heads high, though. Pushed Liverpool right to the limit.
Definitely. They've got some attacking talent, that's for sure. If they can stay solid at the back, they can cause some real problems.
Okay, last but not least, the big one. Tottenham, Manchester United, and Spurs, they take it 1-0.
What a match. Both sides had chances, but Tottenham, they took theirs. Maddison with the winner after Onana's save, that was quality.
Tactical battle, that's what I read. 2 well-organized teams just going at it. Tense stuff.
You could see both managers, they knew exactly what the other one was going to do. Real chess match out there.
Huge win for Tottenham. Pushes them right at the table and puts them in that fight for Europe.
Can't say the same for United. Tough loss. Their top 4 hopes, they're fading fast.
They need to figure some things out. Consistency, that's the key. All right, so there you have it. Match day 25, just wow. All the upsets, the tactical battles, and of course the individual brilliance. But looking beyond the matches themselves, any big trends you're seeing?
One thing jump them out, right? Tactical flexibility. The teams that can adapt to different opponents, different situations, they're the ones that are doing well. Like Brighton, that high press against Chelsea. Or Arteta using Marino up front.
Makes you think it's not just about having the best players, it's about having a manager who knows how to use them and can adjust on the fly.
Set pieces too. We saw a bunch of goals from corners, free kicks this weekend. Can't ignore that.
Oh yeah. Teams that are organized and have a plan for those set pieces, they're getting a real advantage. Like Fulham, that winner against Forest, that came from a corner, right?
Exactly. It's a part of the game that sometimes gets overlooked, but it can be the difference, especially in those tight matches.
We've talked tactics, we've talked trends, but what about the players themselves, the mental side of the game? This is a pressure cooker week after week. How do they deal with it?
It's tough, no doubt. That pressure to perform all the time, the scrutiny, it's intense. But the best ones, they find a way. They stay focused, even when it's tough.
And we saw both sides of that this weekend, right? Marmoush, he thrived. But then you see others, and the pressure gets to them, and they make mistakes.
It's a good reminder, football isn't just about what you can do with your feet. it's mental too. The composure, the focus, that's what separates the good from the great.
And it's not just individual, right? It's the team, too, the spirit, the support that makes a difference.
100%. When you feel like you're part of something, when you trust your teammate and your manager, that's when you play your best.
Okay, before we wrap up this part, you mentioned it earlier, the unpredictability. I mean, we saw some crazy results. Makes you wonder, what's next?
That's what makes it so great, isn't it? No easy matches. Anyone can beat anyone.
And that's why we do this, right? Trying to find the patterns to see what might happen.
But the Premier League, it always finds a way to surprise us.
Okay, so we've covered the tactics, the trends, we talked about the players, the mental side of things. But what about the guys calling the shots? The managers, they make such a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Matchday 25, some great decisions, some maybe not so great. But you can really see the impact.
Like Brighton, their manager, what a game plan. He just completely shut down Chelsea.
Did his homework, that's for sure. The high press, the way they marked, it all worked perfectly.
Tactical masterclass. And his players, they bought in, they executed it to a T.
And then there's Arteta, right? Bringing on Marino as a striker. Who would have thought?
Makeshift striker scores 2 goals. Bold move, and it paid off big time.
Shows you got to be adaptable, got to be willing to try things, especially in this league.
Okay, but flip side, right? Not every decision works out. Any that kind of backfired this weekend?
Oh, for sure. Everton's manager, he's got to be scratching his head. Their defense is, well, it's a problem.
Yeah, those goals they're conceding, it's killing them. That one against Palace, just a bouncing ball. Couldn't clear it. Basic stuff.
And it keeps happening. So is it personnel? Is it tactics? He's got to figure it out.
Because if he doesn't, well, they're in real danger of going down.
No doubt. And then there's Manchester United. That loss to Tottenham, that's got to sting. Top 4, it's slipping away.
Their manager, he's under a lot of pressure. Can he turn it around? That's the big question.
Big question. Needs to find some consistency, get those wins. We'll see.
You know, it brings us back to something we've talked about a few times, this whole mental side of the game.
So important, but easy to forget sometimes.
These guys, week after week, the pressure, the expectations, it's got to be tough. How do they even cope?
It's about mental strength, right? Being able to handle it, to stay focused, even when things are going wrong.
We saw it with Marmoush. He just took it all in stride. But then others, the pressure gets to them, and it can really affect their game.
Yeah, football's not just physical. It's up here, the composure, the focus. That's what separates the good from the great.
And it's not just about the individual, right? The team, the support system, that makes a difference too.
For sure. When you feel like you belong, like you've got your teammates, your manager, that's when you can really shine.
So we've reached the end. Matchday 25 officially in the books. What's the big takeaway for you?
I think it just shows you football, it's complicated. There's so much more to it than just who scores the most goals. It's the tactics, the decisions, the psychology even. It all plays a part.
Yeah, and we've really gotten into all of that today. And hopefully, you know, for everyone listening, it helps you appreciate the game even more.
It's a beautiful game, unpredictable, exciting, and honestly, who knows what's going to happen next.
And that's what keeps us coming back for more. Matchday 26 is just around the corner. Keep an eye out for those tactical battles, those moments of magic, and yeah, those managerial decisions that could make all the difference.
We'll be back to break it all down for you.
So until then, keep exploring, keep analyzing, and most importantly, keep enjoying the beautiful game. We'll see you next time.